Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Chess 101. Today, we are going to learn how to checkmate with a king and a queen against a lone king. It's pretty easy to do. I'm going to give you a technique that I use that it will be really good for you if you're doing fast play with the clock. It'll help you to keep from stalemating the other player, which is definitely something you don't want to do. So, the first thing to recognize is that the queen is the most powerful piece, has the ability to limit wherever the king goes on the board. And the way to checkmate the king with just a king and queen, it has to be on the side of the board somewhere. It could be anywhere, but it has to be on a border. You can't do it in the middle of the board with just these pieces. There's no way to do it. So it would look something like, like this maybe, okay? You might look like that. It could look like that. It could look like this, but it's got to be on the side of the board. So I'm going to teach you a quick way to do it where you won't get in trouble by a stalemate or something crazy like that. So we'll start the king. We'll just put the king over here. We'll put this king here, and we'll put the queen right there. Okay. So let's say that that you're trying to checkmate the king. So the key here is limiting where the king goes. So what you want to do is find the closest border for the king. You can either use this border or this border. You wouldn't want to try to push the king all the way over here or over here. It's going to take too long. So the first thing to do is you want to limit where the king can go. So you want to get your queen in the middle of the board and block off the king. So you can see here, the king can't go on this row, can't go here, and it can't go here. So from here, it can't really go anywhere. It can either go here, here, or here. These are the only squares it can go to. So it doesn't matter where it goes. You're going to make this little square right here smaller. You're just going to keep making it smaller until it's literally the edge or the corner of the board. Now, so here, let's say the king decided to go here. You would just move your queen and you would take out this whole row. Okay, you can't move here because the king can take. So you just move the queen over here, right? And let's say the king went over here. That's fine. You limit it from coming back to this square. You just follow it. Okay. If the king goes here, you follow it. If the king goes here, you come here. Now, once you've got the king on the edge of the board, it's pretty easy. No matter what the king does, you just bring your king in. Doesn't matter where he goes. If he goes here, you just checkmate. Right there, a king can't go anywhere, okay? So the key is, though, there's two important things to checking with a king and a queen. The first thing is, don't ever, don't move your king. Leave the king alone until this king is stuck on the edge of the board. There's a reason for that. So I'll give you an example, okay? Let's say we're limiting the king here, and the king goes here, so we go here, and then the king goes here, and then we decide we're going to go here. So the king can really just go back and forth between these two squares. So the king goes here, and what you should really do is you want to trap the king on the sides. You should go like this, and then the king only has these two squares. But let's say you don't do that. Let's say you're like, oh, I'll go here, and then you say, I'm going to move my king in. So you move your king in, your king starts heading over there, and then you go, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to block off that king now so I can checkmate it. Well, actually, this is stalemate because the king only has one square it can go to right here. It can't go there because your king is guarding that square. Can't go here because of the queen. It can't go here. So it's stalemate. So forget the king. Just use the queen to get the king trapped on the back rank. And then bring your king in and deliver checkmate. Okay, it doesn't matter how you bring your king in, just bring it in to deliver checkmate. Now, an important thing to remember is don't stalemate the king with your queen. So here we go, we'll say he goes here, so we go here, he goes here, we go here, and then he goes here, right? He's already stuck on this back row. He can only go to between these two squares. If you push your queen to here, then the king is stalemated. Right? So you got to make sure the opponent king always has an empty square. And then you can just bring in your king and then checkmate him. So It's a pretty simple rule. Just make sure that you push the king to the edge of the board first. Use the queen to block off the escape. And then you bring the king in later to checkmate. And of course, you don't have to checkmate directly this way. In this case, if the king moved here, you could just checkmate here, because he can't move here because of the king's blocking all these squares. So that's how to checkmate with a king and a queen versus just a king. I recommend practicing it with somebody. You can probably practice it on your computer too, and then just make sure that you don't stalemate the king when you're trying to completely win the game. The other reason why you want to do it just where you move the queen first is in a blitz game, if you're really low on time and you're trying to move both pieces, it just takes longer. So it's easier just to get the force the king to a row here, and then bring the king in for the checkmate. Okay, that's how you do it. That's today's episode. I'm going to do another video where we do it with the rook. It's harder, but it can be done if you understand use the same principles of limiting where the king can go. That's our Chess 101 lesson for today, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much.